So looks like we do have a high here at the end of the day, as indicated by the kind of like the combo here of the Indian head and the Labradorite. There is a low correlator, or a low correlation here at the end of the day. So I would be careful. We don't necessarily continue all the way up. It looks like at the very end of the day, there's probably a fast sudden move higher and then a breakdown through uh, an ascending diagonal trend line. And it looks like as far as the lowest low, we technically hit it. It happened yesterday, or excuse me, I should say on Friday, but we hit it again today, and sometimes you'll see that happen. So we're pretty much on point with that, and we saw a pretty big move to the downside early on and then move to the upside towards the end of the day. We should see either the same low or lower low. I would say if we break through this to this 100-day moving average here, this white line, it's an exponential 100-day exponential moving average. If we were to break through this, I think that's probably the low. This we may see the same low here. So if for some reason we break through this price level, this 100-day exponential moving average, like on the 23rd, then there's the possibility of this 28th being a lower low. It may very well be, but there's also a significant peak here. So I think what we do is we go from like a notable low to a big move up to a significant high for the month as well. Not a highest high, but a significant, like would be like a new local high after making all these lows. Hey V, hey Tabriz, hey Trading Altitudes. We came close. We just like nicked it, really. If you look at the chart right here, we got the bottom end of the candlestick, so technically same low, maybe slightly lower on the day of, but depending on how you look at it, we pretty much nailed it. Some people go by the candlestick body, some people go by the wick. I think it's more common to go by the candlestick body than the wick, because not everybody's trading intraday, if that makes sense. But in any case, if we do see a lower price level here on like the 23rd, then there's a possibility of this being lower. If it's the same low, there's a strong possibility that this is not going to be a lower low, but the same as today. Well, I should say Friday, technically. It's Netflix. It's Netflix as well. Which is annoying because I definitely changed them at the start of this. But they fall in pretty much the same pattern. So here at the end of the day, we should have some sort of like, first off, we had these price swings, right? That this orange correlation here is to the theme card, which were price swings, and you could see in the right around the open, we had these notable price swings back and forth, back and forth. And then there was like this fake out to the downside devil card. Big move out of that breakout, taking us to like a peak, an overbought peak. Actually, it would be right there. And then another fast sudden move higher. What's interesting is that here, what is this, about 230? This price level here is like a Princess of Swords price level, which would indicate that we would see a higher price level, like a notably higher price level and a notably lower price level than this resistance level here in the not too distant future. i.e. it's a good mean point between a straddle and a strangle, and I would say we're probably going to end up going to the downside here. This is like, this right here is probably the top off. We have this like truce card here at the end of the day, which is resistance, and then we should have some sort of trough. We've got what, about a half hour left, so there's a good chance we either go sideways for a little bit and then down, or we go down from here. Well, yeah, I mean, Avi, it depends on how you look at it. So technically, I'm right, and technically, I'm wrong. It really depends on who you ask, because some people follow it by the body, and some people follow it by the actual wick. Depends on how you trade. But in either case, it was either right on the day or a day off. And since we did this reading back in on May 26th. We did this reading on May 26th, guys. The August monthly that we're using today was done on May 26th. That's May, June, July, August. 3 months in advance. Using it today, we were either on point with this lowest low by the day, or we were off by 1 day. Not bad. Do I still see September low to 380? There's a scare with the new COVID variant. All vaccine stocks were up today. Is there substance to this? If yes, will ZM, NVAX, OCGN, other pandemic stocks do well? Yeah, I saw something. I don't follow the news purposefully to stay kind of like out, keep that out of my influence. But occasionally, especially when I'm in New York City, things will stand out to me. And this new variant strain definitely caught my eye in like an intuitive kind of way. So I'd say that there is some sort of substance to it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I mean, as far as substance, there's substance to people getting scared about it and impacting the market. The timing of that is also very indicative, because it happened right around the cusp of retrograde, going station retrograde, and when we had the big crash, when the COVID crash, and I think what was it, 2020? I think, I forget what year it was. I think it was 2020. And because when we had that big COVID crash, that all happened in February during a Mercury retrograde, and we had all these kind of like surfacing of, I don't know what the word is, but kind of like revitalization of the COVID strains like during Mercury retrograde. So there's some kind of gravitas to it. Hey, Robert. Let's take a look at these stocks. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me just double check here. So we've got Princess of Swords here too. And we're coming up on this important resistance. We're right at the top of this important. This might be the science price level right here, actually. I think that is the science price level. So, yeah, that's the science price level right there. We've come back to it. And you can see tomorrow we have it here. There's a very good chance that that's the same price level. Likely what happens is we would open lower if that's the case, probably at this price level here, which is the Princess of Swords, and we should mark that off indicatively. It's like right around here. Sorry guys, I'll come back to that question. I just don't want to miss guiding people on the trades here for the SPY since it got on a little late. See, we've got science here as well. Truth card, end of the day. Science card there. There's a lot going on here with resistance. So what I would probably do, I'd probably open up a short around these price levels. What that would be if I if I opened up a long here. It's a little risky because we're getting really close to retrograde station, guys, and I really don't like to trade around that. But there's a brief peak that's easily missed tomorrow. It's probably right here around the 1 to 2 o'clock hour, maybe closer to 2, but around the 1 to 2 o'clock hour, where you might exit a long position. I wouldn't buy the long position now per se, but let's say we open lower tomorrow. Let's say we do open around this resistance level, this princess level here, 438.47. I'd probably open up a long position there. And then I would close that long position right around here, around like 1 to 2 o'clock hour. Might open up more short position at the close. I think I would probably wait until tomorrow to open up the short position, and wait until tomorrow to open up the long position as well. So like, because it kind of like missed, it would have been around here. So what I would do, unless we have this big drop at the end of the day, which I don't foresee taking place, we'll have some sort of trough here, but I don't think we'll have a big drop. If we did have a big drop, I'd use that as an opportunity to open up a long position. You can see we had this big move out of the low, so that's already taken place. We successfully turned resistance into new support around the high. So this is all kind of coming out pretty accurate. All right, let's get into those questions. Sorry, guys. All right, ZM. ZM impacted positively by the COVID variant news. I got a devil card for that. That's a no, and maybe some sort of trickery going on there. NVAX. NVAX benefit positive. Oh, will NVAX be impacted positively by the COVID news? I got a no for that. I don't think it's going to make much of a big impact, it looks like. OCGN. No, not really. Can you tell me general direction of NVDA coming days? What's the general trend direction of NVDA throughout the next several days? Let's say throughout the remainder of the week. So it looks like we have this move higher. We'll break through resistance on a multi-day scale temporarily, and then we break back down with a full retracement. That's for this week. Appreciate it, AV. Do we see the crash from Mercury retrograde 23rd till 3rd September? Um, well, I would be mindful what's happened here during this retrograde period. So let me just kind of uh, make some drawings here to make this a little clearer for everybody. All right, so on the 3rd, the influence of retrograde started, and the influence prior to actually becoming Mercury retrograde goes until the 23rd. So you could say tomorrow's the last. Well, really the 23rd because it's the end of the day. So the trend, overall pattern that happens here in this period of time, which is notably to the downside, we move down, up, down, up, down, up, like that, right? We should see pretty similar, like opposite direction. Now, if it's a really strong overarching downward trend, the opposite direction will get kind of skewed. But between the 23rd and the 15th of September, I think it'll probably get skewed because it seems to be such a strong downward trend. We should see some sort of like kind of like pause in the downward action for the most part, and do some like sideways, possibly up a little bit, but some sideways, like maybe up a little bit into this price level. We might even see like the 448 price level again, or maybe a little lower by this time, by the 15th. And then we should see a continuation of this trend direction to the downside again between the 15th and the 30th. So you want to count on some sort of reversal taking place here around the 23rd. Sometimes it's a little bit before, sometimes it's a little bit after. This might be a little too early, but pretty close. Like it could happen today, it could happen tomorrow. We should see some sort of reversal here around the 23rd, and another reversal to the downside again around here on the 15th. 23rd to the 3rd from a daily. Why does this keep doing that? I don't know how many times I've changed this to SPY now. This is getting annoying. Wow. That's like the 4th time I've changed this chart to SPY. Good old E-Trade and Mercury retrograde. Yeah, no, I see some movement. I mean, it's kind of mixed, but I see some movement to the upside here towards the end of the month. You want to go down, buddy? See that? Right around the 15th, there's like this change in direction, it looks like. Interesting. How's SPC looking for Tuesday? All right, see that? So we bottomed out. Looks like on the 16th, which was kind of like the final place that we would see. We might have seen a low, and it looks like that ended up being Queso's off on the lowest low being there. Those were troughs. They were prominent troughs, but the lowest low ended up being here on the 16th. I feel pretty strongly that was the low. Um, so we should see a pretty big move to the upside tomorrow. Man, this was a tough reading to be able to call the high. Even if I didn't see it here, I saw it somewhere else. Like it's a very difficult reading to be able to call the high rate looking at it now, unless we have some insane move here at the end of the month to bring this to make this the highest high. This was really difficult to determine. This is I'm not blaming myself. This was a tough one, but the low here. We should see a pretty big move to the upside there, maybe even starting like at the end of the day here. You got it, Robert. I'm working on that 1 year that you ordered a little bit ago. I should have that out in the next couple of days. ETH 21st to the 27th. '21st to the 27th. Not really, no, because I'm not seeing this peak at the end of the day that I would have liked to have seen. I would probably avoid that, especially because we're right on the edge here of retrograde station direct. What they would might the local high be in NFLX? Do you mean NVDA? Because we were talking about NVDA before. Hmm. Hmm. This might go lower. I might have been really off on the high here. This might actually go lower. It looks like this might go lower on the 24th, 25th. But the local high was either here or tomorrow. It gets kind of wild. There's like some really wild kind of energies going on here as we move into the end of the month for Netflix. Thank you, Baby Yoda. Appreciate it. Hey, Winesso. Will there be any opportunity this week to get out of the shorts and puts open last Friday? Oops. I think so. On the 23rd, there's a strong possibility. Yeah, that's annoying. But there's a strong Hermes. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would say on the 23rd, probably midday. Let's look at the one days. I would say probably on Wednesday. If you don't get an opportunity on Wednesday, I'd get out anyways. Oops, this is SPC. I opened a short, hey Karthikeyan, just before, as you suggested in daily readings. Do we need to close first thing in the morning tomorrow? Probably between 10 and 11. So there's going to be some volatility here and a lot of price change right around the open with a high and low. And then we should have like this is a trade rune. So I would probably get out here around like between 10 and 11 on the short side. And if we're wrong, I would say wait until tomorrow or wait until the following day and probably close at the end of the day. Oh, I missed that one, AV. Sorry. September low around the 14th. That isn't aligning with what I said about Mercury retrograde. Not necessarily. Where did that September reading go? Oh, that's Netflix, sorry. Hmm. Interesting. It may be that it's a very strong downward trend, but it's not always the case. You have to keep in mind it's not always the case. Most of the case, I'd say about 90% of the time, retrograde is going to be to the downside during the shadows, and to the upside in between. But there are cases where you have to the upside, downside, upside, and I have seen cases where it's straight down and cases where it's straight up. It just has more intense moves during the shadows, so that can happen as well. But generally speaking, what you see, the most reliable part is that you see some sort of pivot point here, um, on the days that these lines appear. So on the 3rd, the 23rd, the 15th, and the 30th, generally speaking, within like a day of those lines, you see some sort of pivot point. But with it really being such a strong downward trend, it could be that we continue going downward just at a slower rate during this period here. What other psychic living on a prayer? What do you mean? Did I miss something? I didn't see you say anything about a psychic. What did the other psychics say? Can you give guidance on CSIQ stock response to earnings tomorrow? CSIQ. What will be the earnings results for CSIQ tomorrow? Princess of Swords. It's going to be mixed. And the price action in response to earnings. A significant sell-off from a peak. That's CSIQ. Hey AJ, welcome. Will the low in October SPY be lower than the low in September? It's hard to say. I think so. But it's kind of like the low there on the 1 year is kind of like on the fence between September, October. The October 1 month for the S&P 500 is coming out pretty soon, guys. In a week, it'll be released. About a week, maybe maybe 8 or 9 days, it's going to be released to everybody that's on the free mailing list. So that's the soonest that you can get the, or sorry, it'll come out about 2 weeks from now on the mailing list. That's as soon as that you can get the 1 month S&P 500 reading for free. Other than that, you'd have to get it on the early access on our website. But if you're interested in getting the free version, all you got to do is sign up for our mailing list here at the bottom of the page on tarotfortraders.com. It's free, and you get the 1 month sent to your inbox before about at least 2 weeks before it comes out public on YouTube. And then, like I said, if you want to get it the soonest that you can get it, you go to SOMeta Posts, and you click on our early access to posts. Click here to subscribe. $29 a month, $249 for the year gets you early access to all of the posts that come out on YouTube. They come out anywhere between like several days and a couple months ahead of YouTube, and that's as soon as you can get the S&P 500 stuff as well. Much appreciation to everybody who follows through on that. It's a great way to support the channel. Speaking of which, guys, I wanted to bring up, so there's been some insane bills with my dog Hermes. Really need to raise some money fast here. I need to raise about $2,000. So if anybody's been like on the fences about ordering something, now would be a great time to do that, guys. We really need the extra support so I can take care of my dog here, who's just now starting to put his leg down after, like, I don't know, it's almost 11 days. TSLA view for the week. Definitely off the day on Tesla. We were pretty on point about this big move to the upside here, so we might see a low again tomorrow or close, either tomorrow or maybe the next day. I think probably tomorrow. But it's looking pretty mixed throughout the week. Maybe a peak midweek on Wednesday. It's looking really mixed for Tesla throughout the week. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend opening up any trade on the 23rd, Carolyn. The 23rd is when I recommend people stop trading, really. I mean, you could, but I'm not going to recommend it. It's a bad day to start a trade. With that said, guys, I'm going to roll. So let me just run through SPY for tomorrow. All right, see, there we go. There's that trough at the very end of the day, this low correlation. And so the lovers card, in a lot of cases, is a move higher and then a full retracement of that move. Sometimes it's a retracement of a prior move higher. Like we had this big move higher. It could be a retracement tomorrow that we open to, but I think we'll probably open around this price level here. And what I would want to do, it's a tricky day, but you might consider opening up a long here and closing the long here around like 1 to 2 o'clock. Probably at this price level here. At this price level here, like the 439.60, I would be looking for an opportunity to open up a short position. Looks like there might be a quick short at the end of the day for a day trade. It's possible, like a rally at the very end of the day, and then you open a short position and close it at the close in the midst of a decline. But it's a tricky one. I probably would avoid it based on the timing around retrograde. But I'd want to be on the short end by the end of the day. And it might be safer to wait until the 23rd to open up a short position and then hold that short position probably until the end of the day. Well, there you go again. And now we're in the Mercury retrograde area, so it might not even make sense. I wouldn't want to open up a trade on the 23rd. I'd want to close a trade on the 23rd. All right, my friends, as always, thank you so much for watching. Channel needs your support. There's plenty of ways that you can help out. Definitely got a big vet bill. I spent all my insurance, I used all the insurance that I could for the year for Hermes. So now it's like $2,000 cash. So anything like SOMeta, our services, SOMeta posts, the monthly subscriptions are pretty popular. You can subscribe to any one of these and you get the paid version, which will give you between like 3 to 10 extra minutes of extra content at the end of the public version. Public version doesn't have it, and it talks about all the best trades, what trades to avoid. We look at trades from a multi-year, multi-month, and multi-day standpoint. And then if you have a ticker that you're interested in getting covered by the channel, it's another great way to support the channel. SOMeta posts 1 year report. You can specify what year and what ticker you're interested in, and those are $249 or $250, excuse me. Another great way to support the channel. But anything that you guys are holding off on doing, I recommend doing it right away, because we definitely need the help out here, my friends. All right, and with that said, always make sure to follow that rule of karma. I've seen quite a few people coming through on that. Much appreciation goes out to you guys. You love you guys. You guys are the angel investors, and it's what this channel is all about. It's helping put some good will into the world using stock market energy. All right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Take care. Thanks for watching.